Hold your thumb out at arm's length and close one eye. If you move it to just the right spot, the tip of your thumb will vanish completely. This isn't a magic trick. It's your blind spot, a place where the optic nerve physically punches through your retina. Your brain doesn't show you a black hole, though. It lies. It actively paints over the gap with information from the surrounding area. This act of filling in a blank spot is something your brain does constantly. And it begs the question, what other parts of reality is your brain just making up? Your perception of every color in the universe is built from just 3 inputs. You have 3 types of cone cells in your eyes, each tuned to a different peak wavelength of light. One for reddish light, L cones, one for greenish, M cones, and one for bluish, S cones. Every sunset, every painting, every screen you've ever looked at is just a specific cocktail of these 3 signals. It's less like seeing the world and more like listening to a symphony through only 3 microphones, each one only capable of hearing a single note. The richness you experience is an illusion constructed from a profoundly limited data set. Many animals live outside our 3-color prison. A pigeon sees ultraviolet light, revealing patterns on flowers and feathers that are completely invisible to us. But the true master of color is the mantis shrimp. It doesn't have 3 types of photoreceptors, or 4 like some birds. It has between 12 and 16. Scientists once thought this meant they saw a psychedelic rainbow beyond our comprehension. But current research suggests something stranger. They might not blend the channels at all. Instead, they may use this system for rapid, instant color identification, like a biological barcode scanner, perceiving color in a way so alien we lack the framework to even imagine it. But the most fascinating colors we can't see aren't from the outside world. They're locked away by the very wiring of our brains. According to the opponent process theory of color vision, your brain processes color in 3 opposing channels: black versus white, blue versus yellow, and red versus green. Think of it like a switch. A neuron that signals red is inhibited by the signal for green. You can't flip the switch to both on and off at the same time. This is why you can imagine a bluish-green, like teal, or a yellowish-red, like orange. But you cannot, under normal circumstances, even conceive of a color that is simultaneously red and green. Normally, this opposition is absolute. But in 1983, researchers Hewitt Crane and Thomas Piantanida found a way to jailbreak the human visual system. They used an eye tracker to hold an image perfectly still on a subject's retina. The image was a vertical stripe, half red and half green. Because the image never moved, the cone cells that were staring at red became fatigued, and so did the green ones. Their signal strength faded, and the neural switch that keeps them apart began to fail. Suddenly, the boundary between the stripes dissolved, and subjects reported seeing a new color, one that was not brown or gray, but somehow both red and green at once. What does reddish-green look like? It's an impossible question, like asking someone to describe the taste of a number. People in the experiment struggled for words. They described it as a color whose components seemed to shift and flicker, occupying the same space without mixing. The experience wasn't of a blend, but of a paradox. This color has no physical wavelength. It cannot exist in the outside world. It is a pure artifact of your neural architecture being pushed into a state it was never meant to enter. It is a color made entirely of brain. You can experience a different kind of impossible color right now. Stare at the center of a bright, saturated blue square for about 30 seconds without blinking. Now, immediately shift your gaze to a pure white surface. You will see an afterimage, but it won't be a dull, faded yellow. For a brief moment, you will see a brilliant, glowing, self-luminous yellow that seems brighter than the white background it's on. This is a chimerical color. You have just seen a shade of yellow that is physically impossible for your monitor or any real-world pigment to produce. It's a ghost created by your own eyes. This happens because staring at blue fatigues your S-cones. When you then look at white light, which is a mix of red, green, and blue light, your tired S-cones underreport the amount of blue. Your brain receives the full signal from the red and green cones, but a weak signal from the blue ones. The resulting combination is an experience of yellow-red plus green light that is more pure and saturated than any yellow you could see normally. The experience of color is not a direct reading of the world. It is an interpretation, a story, and sometimes your brain can be tricked into telling itself a story about something that isn't even there.